Will the Biden crime family finally be held accountable? Newly sworn in attorney Ed Martin, who is now directly in the Department of Justice as a deputy attorney general after Trump's brilliant maneuver to pull his nomination from the U.S. attorney for D.C. slot and put him straight into the DOJ, has just dropped a major hint about how Trump is going to get his revenge on the Biden crime family. Now, first, before we get into that, please like, comment, and share at Explain America. It really helps us get common sense journalism out to the American people. Well, first, there's word that Biden Inc. is collapsing. Veteran journalist Mark Halperin just pulled back the curtain on Biden's sudden reemergence and the dirty backstory behind it.
11 o'clock this morning, the Bidens are live on The View here in Gotham City. There's a story in Politico today that says they've hired the former Pentagon spokesperson to manage the Biden comeback. I'm paraphrasing kind of that Joe Biden wants to be out there. The 100 days is over. He wants to be prepared for the books that are coming out that will be critical of him. He wants to speak out against Donald Trump. He wants to defend his reputation. Politico is also reporting that the audio of the special counsel Hur of his interview with Joe Biden that caused her to judge Biden an elderly man with a poor memory, that the Trump administration is going to release that audio and that Biden is gearing up to fight back on all fronts. Now, you could say, as we've discussed, Biden's doing this to fight back, or Biden's doing this for his reputation. I talked to someone very familiar with the Bidens, and I think they've pointed out something that I'm going to say now that to me is the explanation, or at least part of the explanation, which is Biden Inc. has collapsed. All those Biden grandkids had a lavish lifestyle, which they very much liked. Hunter made hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Joe, as a former president, is not in a position to get the same kind of paid speeches, corporate boards, book deal. Biden Inc. needs a source of revenue. And Hunter does, even though he was pardoned and he's not going to prison, Hunter does not have great earning capacity. And you look at the rest of the family.
Wait. The paintings aren't worth a lot?
No, the paintings are not worth a lot.
At the same time, Biden's handlers are scrambling. Remember this moment on The View when he got grilled as a liar on the Hunter Biden pardon? And they jumped in to shield him?
Two things, because I respect it as a parent. I understand why he would do it. Yeah. But I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I'd stop calling it a lie.
Okay, why repeatedly say you're not going to and you do? And secondarily, for the part of this country, half of it that doesn't support Biden, doesn't know him personally, doesn't get to have phone calls, and they're just looking at a system that seems like it only benefits the people who are in power.
I'm going to say,
what precedent does that set?
Well, here's what it says. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this. And he did it. So I think, for many, many reasons, this is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt with.
Now here comes the real twist. Ed Martin, Trump's new deputy attorney general and pardon official, hinted at what might be coming next for Biden world.
We've never seen pardons of the scope, and it looks at least like something that you could be corrupt. When Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, and turns out that Mark Rich had paid a boatload of money to one of Clinton's friends, lawyers, that's not corrupt, it's not criminal, because the plenary power of the pardon. But in the case of Joe Biden and his pardons, they were so specific, back 14 years, covering everything you've ever done. And when I say specific, they were broad, but they had time stuff on them. It was and that at least leads to questions, because the plenary power is true, but the question is what was going on here. And I did get responses from some of them, and those things are ongoing.
That's right. You remember the Biden auto pen scandal. That's when dozens of, quote, pardons, unquote, and executive orders were signed by an auto pen, despite Joe Biden, at least physically, being in Washington, D.C. This could spell big trouble for Joe Biden and his corrupt family, who arguably sold out America to the highest foreign bidder. Now, does that mean that Trump is going to charge Hunter Biden and the rest of his crime family? We'll have to wait and see. But these new developments show that Ed Martin is a serious attorney, and he's looking for crimes that the Biden family committed, and he looks like will not fail to charge them. This has been Kyle Becker with Explain America.